What's going on, everyone? It's day 72 of the squateverday program, and today I am starting the new official program. And the past couple months I've been really doing a lot of basically just squatting and just kind of alternating upper and lower days and just kind of putting in my big favorite exercises, the bench pressing, the rows, and it was pretty difficult towards the end just with my cut and not really eating a lot. But what I am doing now, I'm ending the cut here, so I'm going to start throwing in a little more volume, a little more of my bodybuilding work, and a lot more weightlifting, because that's kind of why I'm trying to squat, get better at weightlifting and my strength. So what I'm doing here today is I'm starting out, I was in the past starting with front squats and back squats, and then I would go into weightlifting, really just prioritizing my squats. So I'm starting out back with my weightlifting movement, so I'm picking one weightlifting movement a day. So this is a snatch pull plus a low hang snatch, or a hang snatch complex. So it's a pull plus a snatch, pull plus a snatch, pull plus a snatch for 3 reps. And today I'm just working up to a heavy 3 rep, probably like a 7 or 8 RPE. Goal of today was not to crush myself, but just to get back into it. I haven't done this much volume. I haven't really done snatch volume or any type of weightlifting volume in months. So really just working on that. And I like this complex here because it really allows me to sneak in some pulls there, allows me to kind of get my technique back. And then the hang there is just to get that rate of force development at speed, which speed will kind of drop sometimes if you're only squatting every day. The speed properties are different there. And you can see that one got a little bit out in front of me there. So I wasn't happy with that. So I went after it one more time to get my 3. Start out on a good number for that. So this is 205 pounds. It's 97 kilo, I believe. Is that right? 93 kilo. And the goal with this at the end of the cycle is to hit, 225, 102 for like a 2 or 3 rep. So I think that's pretty doable given how I felt today. Probably had a little more in me. And then obviously just being the first week there. So I was pretty happy with how the snatches moved. And this is my last rep here. Move it out, but all in all, just got to get back to that, back to the timing and confidence there. So from here, then I moved on to my front squat. So like I said, in this cycle, a little more volume on certain days. So this, I was really just doing triples. So I ended up just doing 5 sets of 3 at anywhere between 255, so 116 kilo, and 275 or 125 kilo. RPE again today was about 7 or 8, so I wasn't really working any percentages. I was just kind of getting after it, and I've been really working on, in my setup, is making sure that I kind of have my pelvis stacked underneath my rib cage and my head, just to stay a little more vertical, to really stay into those legs. Is what I was noticing, if you guys go back to other videos, is my heels were kind of picking up a little bit, which is telling me I was shifting forward. So really just trying to be a little better grounded there and use my legs to lift the weight up versus kind of getting stuck and then having to bail myself out with my back. So that was that. So that went really well. And then I went on to my RDL, so my Romanian Deadlift, or not quite semi-stiff leg here, but ended up doing this today. And this is a heavy hinge for the hamstrings, and really working with this is thinking about driving my back pockets to the wall behind me, feeling that stretch in the hamstrings, getting the glute in there. And this here, like I said, I was hitting about 10 reps or so, 8 to 10 reps. Nothing crazy. It's 255 pounds here. So really just working on a nice, slow, smooth, eccentric, soft tap on the ground to kind of maintain tension. But I'm not smacking the ground. I think that's a big thing, is people will rely on that ground for a bounce. So just a nice soft tap. I tell my clients, thinking about if you are standing on a sheet of ice. So that was that. It was, again, 8 to 10 reps. I like, for hamstrings, I like doing my heavy hinge movements. So either like a stiff leg RDL or a straight leg, or just a regular RDL. I don't really count like conventional deadlifts or sumo deadlifts in like a hamstring specific work, because it's just a lot of other things take over the movement. So I like these. I also like good mornings. I love them with my safety bar. So those are kind of my my big two of this cycle. And then I'll also do some knee flexion hamstring work as well, which I'll finish this workout here. And I think it's important to do hamstring exercises that both work at the knee as well as at the hip. And this obviously here is much more of a hip hamstring, so you're able to load up a little heavier there and really get that nice strength and nice size in the hamstrings, and also the glutes. And this as well will help carry over to just general weightlifting, general posterior train strength. You know, if your stiff leg deadlift or Romanian deadlift goes up, typically you can count on your regular deadlift going up. So again, that's how I program these. I typically stay in that like 5 to 10 rep range, or 8 to 12. I don't typically go too much higher, but really just working on controlling that eccentric and then driving the hips through. Think about back pocket, coming backwards, and then driving it back out of the bar. You can see a nice slow controlled, nothing crazy with my tempo, but nothing too fast. Soft taps on the ground. I was really happy with how those felt. And then from here, I ended up going to leg press, so I'm excited to get back into leg press here. And I'll be honest, when I haven't leg pressed in probably 3 or 4 months. It felt super awkward. I mean, it just took me a little bit. I was actually warming up with just single leg presses, just because it didn't feel right. I couldn't get my positioning, and it kind of shows you how leg press is a great exercise for building quad, for building out all that strength, but the mechanics of it might not necessarily be the closest to actual squatting. So know that. You know, if all you're doing is leg pressing and you want to get better at squatting, or you think it's going to transfer over to functional things, it will get you stronger and bigger muscles, but you still have to train the patterns of the squat. So I was doing here just to really highlight, get some internal rotation work and make sure my feet are a little narrower, toes are a little more vertical. I took a narrower stance on the sled, and I took a lower foot position. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to really work on hitting the quads and making sure that I'm getting that nice knee flexion. So you can see I'm going in deep knee flexion there. I'm really still working on keeping my hips down on the ground, and what I've been working on is making sure I don't go into extension. Mainly a lot of things. I'm doing a lot of breathing work, some PRI work. So just really working on that. But as you can see there, this is a great exercise to really get that nice deep knee flexion, come out of there. And knee flexion means you bend the knee. The quads work to straighten them. So really working on just keeping myself nice and stacked, pelvis and ribs all together, and then driving that sled up. Again, under control on the eccentrics. I didn't really go too crazy heavy today. I think I had like 3.5 plates on there. I had a 25 high down in there. You know, during a massing phase, or a phase that I was really working with these, my feet weren't as low, so it probably is a little easier, because the higher the feet are, the more hip involvement you can get, and the hips are typically a little stronger than the quads. But you know, I was pretty happy with this. I mean, this was something that I probably had, you know, probably another plate in me for the same amount of reps and same amount of tempo, so I was happy with that. Then from here, I like doing bicep curls, or biceps in general, bicep training. After legs, I'm able to get, you know, 6 to 8 solid sets in, and it just gives me a little bit more time after leg day, because I don't have to do a bunch of legs, because, you know, you're getting quality work in. I have some time left, so then you know, on an upper body day, there's just so much to train that I end up just putting my biceps on the end of the leg day, and it's kind of a great way to finish. So just doing some preacher curls here. I was sticking today, this first kind of cycle, in the 10 to 15 rep range. I actually did some cable curls and stuff over the weekend, so I ended up just only doing that for about 4 sets, which already had me a great pump there. So then I finished. I was really going to opt to do these lying leg curl, but no preference there. It's just kind of whatever was open for me at that point. So I ended up going here with this the pre-core here with the hamstring curl, really just working on keeping tension. You can see I'm trying to kind of find my right positioning with my knee angle and internal external rotation at the hip. And it was just kind of lined straight parallel to each other, really working on just keeping tension through that eccentric, loading up the hamstring, and then when I'm coming down, I'm not losing tension. And I was able to really lock in and get a good contraction here all the way from the the lower glute / upper hamstring all the way down to behind the knee. So I was really happy with how these hit. And here I was just chasing a pump. I was just doing some nice high reps, slow, focusing on keeping tension there, doing some different iso holds and slow eccentrics on the way out. So all in all, I was pretty happy with today. It was a good training session. So we are going to be doing some upper body tomorrow, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one and found it helpful. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let me know any questions or comments you have, and I will see you tomorrow.